Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me here. Now, I received a lot of requests about this, and basically, women was asking me about. I'm guessing there's podcasters and individuals and influencers that's out there who are 40 or 40 plus and still single and now doing like I don't know if it was podcast tours or they just talking or just podcast interviews, but y'all mentioned Anthony O'Neill. That's the name I keep hearing the most. And women asking like, Tony, can you address this type of man? Can you explain this type of man and what he has going on and why he's still single? And what I want you to understand is now, for one, I know Anthony personally, not as like close friends or anything, but I went on his podcast because I was going to interview him for my podcast, but my film guy didn't come. So we just did the interview for his podcast, and then we didn't do the one for my podcast. So I do know him personally, and we have, text and talked about working together and all of that over the years. And when I had to start calling stuff out and mentioning stuff, guys get distant. I don't hear from guys when I have to speak the truth. But one thing about me is I work for God, not man. A lot of the guys in the industry, they are more so like it's a difference because like if you listen to Anthony O'Neill's story, or if you listen, I don't really know his story, but if you listen to his story, if you listen to the guy Lateris story, uh, Tim is his name, Tim with the yellow glasses sometime, or I seen blue glasses, Mike Todd, these different guys. If you listen to their story, I've never heard any of them say that they were the number one running back, the number one point guard, slept with over 100 women by the age of 21. And that, ironically, that's just something that men aspire to. Like a lot of guys think that's cool. But that was my life. And I was always in the newspapers every day. It was a different write up. So that brought a lot of girls in high school and women in college. And it got out of hand. It got out of hand. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to deal with that. Like, I didn't understand why every single woman I met would sleep with me on the first day. Like, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand being able to meet a woman in the club and go outside to the back seat and then come back in the club. Like, it didn't make sense to me. And that's what thrust me into this work, because women were too easy. So that's why my first book is called What Daddy Never Told His Little Girl. And a lot of people don't understand. A lot of guys, they like, man, Tony a snitch. Why he doing this? Why he doing that? But it really started to break my heart, because I was like, women have no self-esteem. Women don't know who they are. Women do not love themselves. Like, this is your whole body. Like, I know I don't love myself. I know I don't care nothing about my body. I'm getting my head bashed in every day on a football field. Like, I'm probably gonna have CTE. I done had 6 recorded concussions. I done had 1,000 concussions that I did not tell anybody about. Like, that's why I work so hard. That people be like, I've never seen. I coached a young lady the other day, and she said it's only one other life coach that is as consistent as you. And so she was like, I started to wonder, was she your client or your student? And I was like, yeah, she is. And she was like, because you the only person, the only life coach that I see every single day. I'm working and using my brain as hard as I can, as much as I can, while I can, because I don't know what the future holds. Because I played football from the age of 7 to 21, but I come up in the bull in the ring days where you stand in a circle and somebody in the middle and you just clash heads. And so I'm praying that God give me time, and give me grace. But I seen throughout my life my personality change and being temperamental, and that's why I tell people a lot of times I don't really like speaking on people's name, because I feel like in my heart, I kill about my name. And so, and I don't play about my name. And men know men. And so any man that I speak on, and if he speak on me, he know he have to be speaking the truth. And every man, we understand when we speak on a man, you got to be ready to die, especially if you ever been around anything in near the streets. And I spent 5 summers in the streets, and I was trafficking, across state lines from Florida to West Virginia while I was in college. And I was a full-time drug dealer. And so the ingenuity that you see now in legally in the business world with my company, Billionaire Labs, and my mentor.life and Tony Gaxon's Academy, and now we're working on friendlyn.com and my TG Elite, Tony Gaxon's Elite, to help these young men and building these young men and speaking into their life, to talk to them and tell them, like, all this stuff right here that we get shown, that is promoted to us, is lame. It's lame and it's for losers. And so what you have today is, unfortunately, and I know this is not a woman's dream. I know a lot of women get disgusted when I say that, when I say that I slept with over 100 women by the age of 21. I don't know that if it was actually over 100. I had a little sheet of paper where I would write down the name of every young lady, and I lost that sheet of paper at 79, and that's a real number. And so I'm just guesstimating that it was another 30 to 50. And so that's why I say that. And then one guy, he talking about, yeah, Tony guys are telling men to be with one woman, but he slept with like 200 women in high school. And I'm like, sir, listen to the story and shut up. And that was normal, though. That for an athlete, that was normal. Like when I coach athletes that they stop counting after 1,000. I coach pro athletes that they slept with 10 women. I think 8 to 10 women in one day. Another pro athlete I know slept with 13 women in one day. Like, what I found was like 90 to 99% of women have no class, have no self-respect, like argue and fight for the right to be loose. But what they don't realize is that's not every man. Like, not only the top 10% of men can live like that. The rest of the men, they have a bottle of Jergens lotion and a box of Kleenex. And that is why OnlyFans did $6 billion in a year, because the rest of the men, like, we doing this pop the balloon review thing. How many men you done seen on there come on there and leave empty-handed? Like, every man can't get a bunch of women. Like, every man is not him. It's only certain men that is him and can get who they want. And so the issue with the guys like the Anthony O'Neal, and the reason why I'm saying his name, because y'all said his name to me, and then two, because he keep going on podcasts, putting all his business out there and all his thoughts and everything. So I'm guessing he wants to be talked about, or wants to be seen, or wants to be commented on. But the issue with those type of guys is they want women that don't want them. They are short in the grand scheme of things. They are normal looking. They have normal bodies, almost like dad bods. And they make 6 figures, maybe have a 7-figure year, or make 7 figures. Could be worth 6 figures, high 6 figures, low 7 figures. But that's all they got to offer. So it's other men that have the same amount of money, but are 6 feet tall and got abs and is chivalrous and got the right mindset and don't make excuses for themselves. And so when a woman meet these short men who don't have anything to offer other than a little bit of money, like, I earn 7 figures a year, and I'm here to tell you that if you think earning $1 million plus a year is gonna make you financially secure and everything, all your problems gonna go away. It's not true. It's not true. You still need money. Like there is not really, because the more you make, the more you spend. And the more you make, the more things happen in your friend and family circle. And everybody needs you. Yesterday, my mom wrote me about my aunt's granddaughter shot herself in the head in Georgia and at school. So I don't know to update the status right now. If that young lady passed, I don't know her. I never met her. But I know my mom will be coming to me to help with the funeral. And everybody's problem become your problem. So there's no man that make enough money that he's secure. It's just not how it works. And so these men, they have a little bit of money compared to the amount of money that, like, for example, it's a woman that I know said man wants. Right now, the guy that this woman is dating, who the gentleman came to me, podcaster came to me, said, hey, you know such and such? I like, yeah, that's my client. And like, man, beautiful, man, beautiful. And would love to meet her. Just even, if not the date, like just to come on the show. I hit her up, say, hey, such and such said this right here about you. She said, I think she said he too old. She said he too old and too short. And that's the issue. And then guess what? Now she got somebody that's like her age, and he makes 20 times more than this podcaster. And that's me putting the podcaster income at $1 million. This guy make 20 times more. He's also 4 inches taller. He's also more handsome to her. So that's why these 40-plus-year-old men are single, because they don't know their level. They think that money makes them somebody. And so they want a woman who is gorgeous. They want a woman that they feel is gorgeous, because they don't feel they don't really believe in God. And they don't believe that God can keep them faithful, like that the power of God can keep them faithful. So they want a woman's booty and her beauty and her brains to keep them faithful, versus them having self-control and a fear and reverence for God to be faithful. And that's why they can't abstain. And I have to abstain in marriage. A lot of people are like, oh, I wasn't walking with the Lord when I was 21 years old. I was a drug dealer. I was a womanizer, a thief, a criminal, and a drug dealer at 21 years old. So I wasn't walking with the Lord. So people are like, oh, well, you weren't abstinent. Yes, I was 20. These is 40-plus-year-old men who are not drug dealers, who are not criminals, who are not in the streets 21 out of 24 hours a day, who are not in a backslidden state, claiming to be Christian, claiming to be men of God, getting in every pulpit they can to give a sermon, but yet cannot be abstinent because they don't believe in God and they don't fear God. When you truly believe in God and you fear God, you're going to walk with God and you're going to do what God say do. Ain't no, oh, I'm struggling with my abstinence. I'm struggling. That'll be like me coming on here and be like, I love the Lord. I'm a man of God, but I'm struggling with abstaining from adultery. Like I'm struggling just being with one woman. Like every now and then, every 7 or 8 months, I got to step out. Every 7 or 8 months, I got to step out and get me something new. How does it sound? But that's what these guys basically is saying. And women buying it. And it's hogwash. These guys are completely full of it. They don't want no wife. They not looking for a wife. They looking for the hottest piece of butt they could dig off in. That's what they looking for. Because as a grown freaking man, it is not hard to walk outside and meet a beautiful woman. It is not hard. But the thing is, they doing what the saying says, out punting their coverage. Which just basically mean they trying to date out their league. That's it. They trying to date out their league. They want a celebrity woman, a rich woman, a tied in woman. They want a connected woman, and that is lame behavior. Like my wife don't have a name. Like she got 60,000 followers on Instagram because of me. Like she did not build a brand. She don't do any of that. She want to be a wife and a mom. She don't work at nobody's job. She don't go nowhere. Anytime I'm somewhere and I'm like buying something or I'm doing something, like let's say I'm going to buy a car or something like that. The white guys, they always say, "What does your wife do?" It's like they be trying to compare manhood. Like they'll see me and they'll see how I dress or whatever, and they know the price of gold. So they know, like right now you're gonna pay 10,000 for this necklace. When I got it, it was 3,000 because it's from centuries ago. And if they wife into designer, then they'll know this Tom Brown, and they'll know that this outfit I got on cost about $1,000. They'll know that, and then they'll see this here Rolex, and they'll know that the day this $15,000. I think I paid 13,000 10 years ago. I done had this for 10 years. And so, but it still look brand new, and it lasts and work because it's a Rolex. It's something that costs per wear. Like it's a timepiece. I had this rest of my life, pass it down to my oldest son, pass the other one down, so split everything between my sons. They'll have vintage everything. They'll do a vintage shop one day. 20 years. I got vintage Tom Brown from my daddy. I think that's what the man named. Hey, got this here gold. They could go sell it. But see, so the men, we compare manhood. And every man say, "Oh, Tony, man, I want what you have, man. I want to be married. I want to have a nice little beautiful family." It takes sacrifice. I gotta be with one woman. Last night, I'm massaging my wife's stomach. I'm massaging her stomach from cramping. You know, she was having cramps. She never really had cramps that bad like that, but I'm massaging her stomach. So, and then boom, after I massaged her stomach, she got released. You know, she was able to, she felt good. And then she had made me something to eat. And then she made me another plate because it was good. I'm about to actually get up out of here after this next coach call, go give me some more for lunch. I'm asking, she bring me something for lunch, actually. And so this the thing. And then for that second plate, I was like, "Baby, you'll make me a second plate and make me a little, make me a little drink, and I'll massage your stomach again." And so after she made me a second plate, I'm sitting over there. She's like, "Mister, you owe me a massage." So I went and did massage. I make up my own massage. I'm massaging the stomach, boom, 50 reps. Then I come down here, 50 reps, 50 reps. I go a little further down up under her stomach, 50 reps, 50 reps. Massaging just, boom, she felt good. She went into a deep sleep. She just, guess what? When you rubbing on your wife like that, your body as a man have a reaction. I had to get up with that right there, erection, walk my behind to the other side of the bed, sit in the bed, sit there and chill, watch the game that was on while my wife in a deep sleep. Selflessness, sacrifice. When you have kids and your kids ripping and running, and my wife get up 4:30 every morning, my kids don't go to bed till we don't get home from soccer practice till 10. My son got into bed last night 10:30, 10:45. My wife been up since 4:30. She knocked out. She fall asleep right there. If I've been working all day, leave work to take my son to soccer practice, she take the other son to soccer practice. By the time we get home, We done showered, everybody done showered, we done ate, we sitting there, we can't get busy until my son go to bed. When my son go to bed, my wife sleep. So guess what? In a real marriage, in a real household, you're not knocking the boots when you got kids like that. You ain't knocking no boots all the time. You might be looking at one time a week. On a good week, you might hit 2, 3. You might be looking at one time a week, 2 times a month. So guess what? So when people look and they see all this right here that I got going on and all these businesses, that's because I'm focused and I'm committed to God. That's because I'm not worried about sex. I'm not keeping up with all that. I am not tripping on that. I use sexual transmutation. But see what these men is, they addicted to sex. So they want sex. All they think about is a release, and they want to be able to release in the most beautiful woman they can find. But what they don't understand is, in the grand scheme of things, they ugly. That's what you have to, like, you have to lower your self-perception. The Bible say be lowly at heart. They think that they all this and that, but they don't understand that a woman has a broad scope of reference when it comes to looks. Like, a woman sees all kind of men. She sees the tallest, most muscular, richest, all types of men. So when you come in here built like a Ninja Turtle, knee high to a grasshopper, with a dad bod, with a little podcast or a little TV show or a little business, these women not impressed with that. They understand that if they want longevity, they need a man who, if he 40 years old, he has shown that he can be abstinent at 40. A woman not gonna trust the man who can't be abstinent at 40. Because if you can't be abstinent at 40, you can't be faithful at 40. You're going to cheat on your wife. The same way we seen Keon Henderson in Houston leave his wife. They went through a divorce, and then what did he do? He went and got a celebrity. The same way Torrey Roberts divorced his wife. What did he do? He went and got a celebrity in Sarah Jakes. That's what these single podcasters want. They friends with Keon and Torrey. What did Devon Franklin do? He went and got Megan Good. After he divorced her, who did he start dating? An even better looking, thicker, fitter, younger celebrity trainer. So these men are chasing money or lust. And you can't win like that. And I know all of them personally. That's why when I be telling these stories, people be in the comments talking about what they think they know. I've met them in person. And you have to remember, I'm the #1 life coach in the world. I don't say that arrogantly. I know everybody business. And so when I come on here, I'm not telling everybody business because I'm not a gossip blogger. So, and I have client confidentiality. I know more about their business than they know I know. I know stuff about these celebrities and these people that they would not come back from. And that's why the guy on the yellow couch almost ended his career by saying my name, because you don't know who you're talking to and who you're dealing with. And that's why I tell y'all, stay out my comments when I'm talking about stuff about what you think you know, because I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a regular person out here. I really do this. I'm behind the scenes. I know what I know. I have much deeper insight than I can share because of my professional place. But the lesson for the world, it stays the same. And so the lesson is, because y'all writing me about Anthony O'Neal, but it's a million men suffering from the same disorder. And the disorder it's a disorder that no woman is good enough. They can't be satisfied and settle down with one woman and love her in every season for everything that she is and for everything that happens and goes on. Like, from the time I met my wife has had like 40, 50, maybe 60, 70 weight pound fluctuation. Like, when I met my wife, she was a college track athlete, ran the 800 meters. She got long legs, amazing, beautiful, perfect legs. When I met her, in our marriage, after our 2 kids, she could have been, I don't know, 50, 40, 50, 60 pounds heavier. I didn't even realize that she looked different because I'm with her every day. But now she got back, got a regular schedule. Like, she got her schedule in order, got everything in order, got her body in order, hormones regulated, because she did bodybuilding, like competing, not like the muscle. She was in the bikini division. If you Google it, IFBB pro bikini, like, that's what they're trying to get their pro card. And it just like really cut up, women, and they compete. But she's working out every day, 8 hours a day, certain type of meal plan. They do that full time, like for a living, to get their pro card, to then get like sponsorships and all of that and make money and competing. She came in third. Had she came in second, she would have got her pro card. And that was like only her second show. That shot her hormones. Her friend was older than her. Her hormones were shot worse. She went through even worse than my wife. So a woman's body is so complex. Even without that right there, bodybuilding and all that, a woman hormones could be anywhere. And if you're not a mature man and you don't have self-control and you don't have discipline, you're going to resent your wife and you're going to take it out on her because you're going to think it's all her fault. But it literally, a woman's body deals so much with them hormones that she could be doing everything right, eating perfect, working out, and still gaining weight if her hormones are not balanced. Like, that body, fearfully and wonderfully made, is complex. And that's what these guys don't understand. They don't understand that women go through seasons. The perimenopause, the menopause, whatever you want to call it. Like, women go through adult acne, like skin conditions. Like, I know women, they out of the blue will get shingles. And it's a lot. And so as a man, you have to really know God. Like, you have to be comfortable in yourself. You got to know who you are. And that's what these guys that's out here, these single men that on this Pop the Balloon show, and these 40 plus single men, they don't understand reality because they watch porn. See, I don't watch porn and I've never watched porn. And the reason why is because I've always been, from the age of 15, a man about town. So a lot of times guys who aren't attractive to women, or they didn't really have a lot of female interaction, they got into porn. Because I've had a girlfriend since kindergarten, and every grade it would be 3 to 7 girls that would come up and say, Tony, will you be my boyfriend? So from the age of 5 years old, I've always been in a relationship. That's a literal thing. I've always had a girlfriend. So therefore, I never got into porn because I always had the company of a woman. And sometimes 2, sometimes 3. And I was the type of guy, when I was a young man, before I got with my wife, like fully and completely, I went on a cruise with my homeboy for his birthday, 21st birthday, and had 2 women on the cruise in the bed together. And I had just met them on the cruise. And all my homeboys, they looking at me. And so my experience was different. And so that's why a lot of times with women, I try to tell y'all, it's not honestly fair to compare them to me because we're not the same. I never was considered a lame. I never was considered how they was considered. Like I never was treated how they was treated. And I could tell how they was treated and how they was overlooked and how they was like the teddy bear, or they was like the best friend, or they was like, you know, the nice guy, the cool guy, I don't know, maybe study with, cheat off their tests or something like that. I could tell how they was treated because of how they behave in their 40s, not wanting to settle down, like not wanting to meet the one. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But so you got to realize is that it's really just an internal validation system that is broken. If you need external validation, then you're not going to be in a relationship at 40. You're still going to be single, claiming that you're searching, that you're looking. And then you're going to give hogwash excuses of why you left the perfect woman or the woman you was with, when really it's just. And then I seen a little clip where Anthony O'Neill said it wasn't her, it was me. Like I had her. Who? You ain't been with one woman. You ain't only been with one woman. So now every single woman that he dated, they thinking that they were the one and that he was just too immature and it just was him. And that's a lie. They were not the one. Because when you meet the one, you're not leaving her. We wired for the one. When you meet the one, you're not going nowhere. You changing your life for her. That's what I did. And I was an absolute dog, an absolute womanizer. Although I was a young man and didn't know what I was doing fully, as far as the world is concerned, I was 21. How much do you know at 21? How much did you know at 21? But when I met the one, I said, I'm turning my player card in. I'm done. You know when you know. So they done met the one they say, but you also got to be one with yourself. Like you got to be confident in yourself. You have to be comfortable in yourself. You have to be secure in yourself, because that's how you will leave the one. That's how you will meet the one and not keep the one. But they ain't even met the one because they're not looking for the one. They looking for sex. These 40-year-old single men, I'm not just speaking only of Anthony O'Neill. I'm speaking of him and his kind. They're looking for sex. They're not looking for love. They're not looking for marriage. And they're going to get married out of pressure, societal pressure. They're going to get married so that I shut up, so that y'all will stop asking me about them. And then let's see what they marry. Let's see what they marry. These 40+ year old single men, these podcasters and influencers, let's see what they marry. Let's see if they marry a woman who is decent looking, normal looking, but she is an amazing woman of God with an amazing heart, amazing personality, and they're going to build with her. Or let's see if they marry a woman that looked like she just turned her OnlyFans camera off yesterday, or she just got plucked off somebody's pole. They looking for they Megan Good. That's what they looking for. Because Megan Good was a sex symbol. A lot of people, she's not attractive to me. I was attracted to her as a kid when she was a kid, but as an adult woman, it's like I see women differently. So she's not attractive to me. Like, yeah, she fit and got a nice body and all that, but or just overall holistically, she's not attracted to me. But I don't think Devon Franklin has my story and my experiences either, because I feel like that would have been said if you was a star athlete in high school and in the paper every day and had that type of lifestyle and went to college to play sports and all of that. I feel like we would kind of know that about people. And so sometimes if you haven't had a lot of experience or with women, or you haven't been in that place, then you see certain women who are like a sex symbol or like an icon or whatever. You see them differently. And so you put them on a pedestal and you want to try it. Like you want to try it. Like Russell Wilson is Sierra's fan. Like he is a fan of Sierra, which is unfair to say because, you know, Sierra deserved love too. So any man she meet would be a fan. But sometimes that could be detrimental to a relationship. And me personally, people, they'll be like, Tony, what man do you respect? It's like, what man do I owe respect? Like, I don't disrespect, but I don't respect humans. Like, in the sense of, like, I don't look up to and gravel at. And that's why I tell y'all all the time, don't ever put me on a pedestal. Like, let me show you who I am. Let me earn my keep. Like, I respect God. I respect Jesus Christ. Like, I respect humans in the sense of respect, but I don't idolize. I don't pedestalize. And that's what people really are talking about. Like, Tony, who do you idolize? Like, who do you look up to? I don't look up to any man. I look up to Christ. And that's who I model my life after. But these guys, a lot of these guys, especially the influencers, the ones with a platform, not even just the one, just everyday men, they care more about being buddies and being friends than being useful to God, being purposeful to God. I don't care nothing about their feelings or none of that if they grown and living outside of the will of God, but yet claim to know God. At that point, the gloves come off. You're too grown, you're too musky to be living in fornication when you know better. And you done had, like, we could lose our real virginity. Like, as a man, we probably could lose our real virginity at, like, I'll say 13. So if you 40 years old, how many years is that you done had? You done had, what, 27 years to get it right. Come on now. You done had 27 years to get it right. Come on now. Come on now. Hold on right quick. Test my wife about this lunch. And that right there, that's what ticks me off. Like, people be thinking that I'm jealous. I have absolutely nothing to be jealous of. Every single thing that a man could want in life, I have it. And I mean that. Every single thing that a man could want in life, I have it. I'm not jealous of a single man on. My best friend is a billionaire. I ride on his private jet for free to go out of the country for free vacations. I don't need anything. I don't need anything. I have everything that a man could want. So when I speak on what I speak on, it is never, if you think it's rooted in jealousy, you lost, you confused, you deceive. Like really sit back and ask yourself, what does he have to be jealous of? Someone like, oh, he jealous because he fell off. I didn't fall off, I stepped off. Meaning I stopped touring so I could be home with my sons. Think about it. It's two sides of every coin. If tonight's conversation could have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people in the arena, you don't realize there's an equal amount of people who want my message? I don't tour by choice, not because I can't, but because I have a 17-year-old son who needs to see his father's face every day to stay in line. I'm raising my son, and I have a 10-year-old son. I'm raising kings. I'm raising men. So I can't be on the road every week like these guys can, who don't have kids or don't have teenagers or don't have a wife. If I was the gentleman who put on the tonight's conversation, he's not married. So he's in a relationship. She can go with him. They don't have kids, obviously. But you can't be me with a wife and 2 kids, and one of my sons practice 40 minutes from home. The other son practice 50 minutes from home, and they in different directions. I can't do that to my wife. I married her, not the world. I got to be a man of my household first. I got to take care of my household first. So what I'm doing, I work online. Right now, go to TonyGasAcademy.com. You're going to see the singles mastermind. Well, I'm getting you in shape and getting you ready for marriage for this whole year of 2025. Go on, grab your spot, because space is limited, because we're going to be in a group chat, a daily group chat, and then we're going to have monthly calls. And then I got a men's retreat that I may switch to a co-ed retreat unless a bunch of men sign up. And then that's in Costa Rica in October. So you'll be able to sign up for that as well. So I work from home. Like, YouTube pays well. Anybody who on here at this level knows it. YouTube pays well. Online courses pay well. Consulting pays well. Ghostwriting pays well. Businesses, the businesses that I have, it pays well. So I don't have to go anywhere because I'm not seeking validation from people. I don't need to be on a stage in front of thousands of people for my ego and to feel special and to feel seen. And that's what they're doing, because they're not changing lives. They're not changing lives. They're not helping anybody. They're not impacting anybody. That's for their ego. That's to feel like a celebrity. That's to feel like a star. And if they honest with themselves, they'll tell you that. If they won't tell you that, but if they honest with themselves, they'll tell you that. When I used to tour, it was a high. It was a high. It's like you're a rock star. But when you really know who you are and you really love yourself, you'd rather be home than out here hugging on all these different spirits and brushing shoulders with all these different spirits, and you feeling heavy and icky and gunky and icky because all these spirits and all these motives. And then you also expose to where somebody want to get you touched. It's easy to get touched. And so that's what they don't understand with that touring stuff. So you see me, I don't have a desire, because it might be somebody that want to get me touched because they like, oh, he know my business. And what if he gonna break one day? What if he gonna fold one day and he just gonna go to blabbing at the mouth and telling all my business? They might want to get me touched, and people don't understand that side of it. People don't understand that. Tony, can you tour again? No, I gotta take care of my family. I tour. I may do an event, 1, 2, but I'm not touring until I'm ready to die. Because the truth that I carry, how the devil got his panties in a wad. You hear me? These men is mad with me. They mad with me. You hear me? Listen, because I'm telling the truth. That's why all of them have distanced themselves, because until you ready to come in the light, you don't want to be around me. Until you ready to live right, you don't want to be around me, because I'm going to make you uncomfortable. Because you're going to see me living right. You're going to see women looking at me, women recognizing me, women taking pictures with me, and you're going to see me stand on my commitment to my wife. You're going to realize that, wow, okay, he done made mistakes, but it's mistakes behind him. He been clean for over a decade. And men get intimidated by that instead of getting inspired by it. Instead of saying, you know what, let me discipline myself. Let me have some self-control. Like, let me tap into the power of God like he has to be faithful to his wife. They get jealous and they get intimidated. And they like, oh, he judging. He's so judgmental. All he want to do is judge. I can't judge you. We got the same judge. We serve the same God, supposedly. That's the judge. I'm the accountability partner. I'm checking you. I'm holding you accountable. And it's like, no. People are like, oh, Tony, you should go and talk to these men personally. Their display is public. If you are a distraction to the body of Christ publicly, then why should I address you privately? If you publicly working against God by being an open fornicator, but claiming to be a man of God, my message got to be public to reach the masses. I'm not finna talk to you one-on-one when you are reaching hundreds of thousands of people with your lukewarm lifestyle. So I have to address hundreds of thousands of people too, and let them know this is a lukewarm lifestyle. This man is full of it. This man is lying. This man ain't even trying to walk with God. Do not believe that, because I know the same God that he say he talking to, and I am 100% faithful to my wife, and God don't love me no more than he love him. So if God could keep me out of adultery, God could keep him out of fornication. He don't want to be out of fornication. He want to fornicate, because ain't nobody grabbing your penis to stick it in a woman but you. So shut the mess up and tell the truth that you do not love God, you do not respect God, you do not fear God, so you willingly sinning over and over, and you trying to gaslight a community of people to make them think that your heart in the right place and you want to do the right thing, but you really just want to get your thing taken care of. Tell the truth, or shut up and sit down. And y'all stop going on podcasts and doing all this talking. Go in your prayer closet and come out a man. January 31st, the audio book is coming out, and this is what it's addressing. And it is for men. It is not for women. I don't mind you buying it and listening to it, ladies, but it is for men. What I want you to do, these leaders that you follow, get their email address and gift them this audio book. They're going to listen to it. I guarantee you. They're going to listen to it. They're going to, because God going to convict their spirit. They're going to listen to the whole thing. When they listen to it, they're going to be in tears, just like I was in tears while I was recording it. Holy Spirit was in that booth. Holy Spirit was in that booth. And you know, I reached out to D1 to be on it, and he never responded to text. And then later I found out he's in fornication. One of y'all sent me the clip where they was asking him, like, is he abstinent? He said that he something like struggling with it or working on it or something like that. And I said, thank you, Lord, for not letting him be available to do a track on this album, because I want it pure and clean. So the producer is a married and faithful man, Sean Callahan. Felt this spirit, amazing spirit, amazing spirit. And I had another producer that has amazing spirit too, but he also worked with secular artists. Sean just worked with Christian artists. So for this one right here, I needed a producer that just do gospel music. And so we did it alone. Because I was reaching out to the different gospel rappers, like Christian rappers and stuff like that, because I wanted them to kind of interlude and do a track on it. But then the Lord said, no, go alone. I call you. I ain't call everybody. People who can't tap into my power and live by my commandments, flee from fornication, flee from sexual immorality, homosexuality, flee from adultery, flee from covetousness, lying, backbiting, whatever it may be, idolizing. These guys, they idolize other men. So when the truth need to be spoke, they won't speak it if it's their idol or their friend. Who are we here to serve? Read the book of Timothy. You here to please God, or you here to please your friend? If your friend divorced his wife for no reason, his wife ain't cheat on him, then you need to be speaking out against that divorce. But if you just finna turn a blind eye to that divorce, that is not a biblical divorce, and this is a pastor having an unbiblical divorce, and if it's a biblical divorce, don't say that, oh, you trying to say your wife's name so you don't want to slander her name and tell people that she cheated on you. No, if you a pastor, you have a responsibility to be transparent and to let people know that your divorce is biblical. And if your divorce is biblical, what did the Bible say about divorce? So you got to express that. You got to express, you got to be honest with it. And then, yeah, okay, if you go and get married or whatever, and people say, oh, well, that ain't biblical or whatever, or your wife get remarried, that ain't biblical. It's like you expressed it. You express your flaws, you express your shortcomings, and what you got to deal with, that's between God is your judge. We can't judge it, but we at least need to know the truth. We at least need you to be transparent. And so they're not doing that. They're not doing that. And then these other people with a podcast, instead of calling it out, they don't want to, because that they happy about that. Like they happy that your pastors are getting divorces and then remarrying celebrities. They're happy about that because it gives them room to sin and not be judged. Because they like, oh, if pastor, okay, pastor, I see you, boy. Hey, boy, you out here. Hey, boy, you using the N word, boy. You fornicate, boy. You adulterate, boy. Ooh, ooh, yeah. God love him. He anointed. No, he not. No, it is no anointing. God ain't nowhere near him. Finna bust hell wide open. Just because somebody in the pulpit don't mean they know God. Just because somebody is a good orator don't mean they know God. So you got to realize about these 40 plus year old single men, they lost and they hurt and they broken in one way or another. Not all of them is vicious. Not all of them is malicious. Not all of them have bad intentions, but they either broken, insecure, lost, demented, demonic possessed. If they not living like Apostle Paul, if you don't see them living like Apostle Paul, then they one of them other things. Because if they not one of them other things, they're going to live like Apostle Paul. You gonna feel the Holy Spirit on them when they open their mouth. They ain't even got to open their mouth. They could just be standing in your presence and you gonna feel the Holy Spirit. And I remember I met a man one time and he told me that. He said, T, man, I'm around so many celebrities. He said, man, Chris Brown, right back there right now. He said, I want to take you back there to meet him. He said, but boy, I ain't never been this nervous as I am standing here in front of you, meeting you. This ain't my word. This real truth. Come to find out, we weren't friends or nothing. I was shooting a project, a film project. I didn't know him. He just followed me on social media, on Twitter. A few years later, he got arrested for beating his woman to a pulp. His demons were triggered. It wasn't nervousness. It was the Christ in me triggering the spirit in him. And so he was nervous. And that was such a deep spiritual thing that I didn't even understand at that time. I was like, is it because I'm an inch taller than you? Is it because my cologne smell good? Like, I'm not understanding, like, why you so nervous? But then when I seen that later, because we did that interview and we never spoke again. When I seen that, I was like, wow, that's why he was struggling like that. And the same thing happened. When I met Anthony O'Neill, he had been doing hour-long interviews. But the day that he interviewed me, he said, we're going to a new format. We're doing 30 minutes. I said, that's interesting. I said, he don't want me to say too much that can entrap him. And then right back after that, went back to hour-long interviews. And the only guys who, they don't care about me coming on their show talking is the hardly initiated guys. But that's because they making money. Like they not on one side or another. They making money. Like their YouTube pays. And that's not their only goal, but they got to feed their family. So whoever want to talk and you got something good to say, they're going to let you get on there. They don't care if you used to be witchcraft. They don't care if you demon possessed. They don't care if you homosexual, straight, asexual, sleep with dogs. They bringing everybody on there. And that's why I stopped going on there. And that's why I tell them, like, I'm not doing nobody podcast because I don't want my message to be mixed up. I don't want my video to play and then next you got an atheist video playing or you got a demon worshiper video playing. I don't want my good to be evil spoken of. I'm not casting my pearls to swine. So if I go on a thing, it got to be a Christian podcast that is reaching out to the lost. The lost is seeing it and they coming in for this good message. I'm not trying to promote anything outside of that. And so, and everybody know that about me now. But hey, God bless you. Got to go. I'm a minute late for my coaching call. We'll talk soon. We'll dive a little deeper into this spirit that these men struggling with, and we'll talk about it a little more. God bless you. Talk soon. Oh, get on over there, Tony Gas Cat, to get in the singles group this year. if you want to do it the right way and get it together. And then also shout out to Blessed Tribe, Patreon, and Tony Gaston Family Foundation Incorporated supporters. I put the link in the description for the boys summer camp, Summer of Champions. I really appreciate you. You don't understand it. Like it's hard to have people with that type of heart. So for those of you who have supported, God bless you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you at the top.